Hi, welcome back to the garden. Today is Thursday, May 25th. Now we do have all the trellis strings up, but I was waiting on this section to show you how I prune these and how we go ahead and trellis them up. Now yesterday's thunderstorm was supposed to be the last one through this weekend. We'll go as far as we can go until it starts to rain. Then we'll go on in the greenhouse. We got a couple more tomatoes that need planted. So come on, let's trellis. Now if you remember when we planted these, they're about this tall. Okay, so the anatomy of a tomato plant. You've got a leaf, you've got a sucker, you've got the stem. All of this lower, that leaf is touching the ground. And you can see we really do need to have that leaf out of there. This next leaf is touching the ground. Now this next leaf here, that's touching the ground. And it's already getting some spots on it, so we want that out of here. Now where that leaf joined, there's this big sucker. Because we didn't prune, that allowed the plant to grow a sucker this big, and that should have been going into the growth of the plant or into flowers. Take off this other sucker. Got the same thing going on the other side. Just cut out all those suckers. This leaf is touching the ground, so it needs to come out. Now this looks dramatic, and I'm clearing this all out. We've got a great big sucker here. We've got a leaf and the stem. Take that sucker out. In a string trellis method, we want this as open as we can have it. There's no fruit on this bottom, so we don't have to even worry about it. We can take that leaf off too. That just opens it up. Down here, this bottom leaf has been touching the ground and it's got some dark spots on it. It also has a sucker coming out. If you use sharp scissors, you can take them both out at once. This right here is a sucker that's growing out where we pinched that leaf off when we planted it. It doesn't need to be there. This leaf, there's no flowers right in here, so I'm not worried about it. So I'm going to take the sucker and that leaf off. On the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. Do the same thing here. Okay, now we've got a decision to make. It looks like there's a V right here, just below these flowers. But if you really look at it, you've got a leaf here, and this is a sucker, and it's almost as big as the top part. So we remove that sucker, and that's as big as a tomato plant. I'm going to put that in water, and we're going to see how long it takes to root. So I'm just going to remove all the rest of the suckers and all of these lower leaves. And you can do it pretty fast once you get to identifying what you want to cut out. And see how well that opens that up. And it's okay to go ahead and work on two of them at the same time. That way you can see what you're actually doing. Take those leaves and those suckers out. And I'm getting hit by rain, and we're going to go to the greenhouse. Let's get this wrapped up. Take that around. You're really just taking the plant around the string. And there you go. That is trellised. Now it's going to put all its energy into making tomatoes and growing taller. Now don't worry about the top until that grows on out. Let's go ahead and get this in a glass of water and get it rooting. And there you go. We'll see how many days it takes this to root. And our sweet potatoes that we put in a bag a few days ago, they've about doubled in size, I think. But we're definitely on the countdown. And we've got a few slips to put in the ground. Planted a bunch of these heirlooms out in the garden. We still have a few in here, and those roots are really good. Now if you remember, when we're going to split these, you just take your thumb between, as close to the center line as you can, and gently kind of pull them apart. Those roots come right out. We got 3 here. Take the one closest to the side. Just kind of gently work it out. If you tear a few of the roots, that'll be okay, because tomatoes, the entire stem will root, if you remember. I'm going to pinch these 2 first leaves off. Like that rainstorm just about to hit us. And it doesn't matter how much dirt you put up on the stem, the entire stem will root. Now these seem a little long, but when we go to plant them in the garden, we'll lay them on their side. So there's one. Right here, these 2 will pull apart pretty easy, and those roots just kind of separate. Pinch out those bottom 2 leaves and backfill with soil. Snug that down in. That's all you have to do to transplant tomatoes. Got a little tray here we're going to set these on so I don't lose track of which is which. Give them a pretty good soaking this first time. You can really tell the difference between these 2. This heirloom here has more rounded leaves, and this green has more of a traditional tomato leaf. It's going to be interesting to see how they ripen. You can do this too. And if you want to learn more about planting tomatoes, click that link right there and I'll meet you back in the garden. If you want to learn more about deep mulch, click that link right there and I'll meet you back in the garden. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.